This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. There has been much debate over time as to whether language is acquired or inherent to the infant. One fact is certain, though, and that is the fact that children mimic their elders, learning daily new ways of dealing with obstacles they face. Observation plays a crucial role in what they later perceive the world to be. This is one reason, for example, why children growing up in abusive environments sometimes begin the same process in their own homes as adults, with their own families. Nature and nurture, split into two parts, refer to what is instinctive and what is nurtured, taught. Cognition, mental processes, refers predominantly to the following non-behavioral processes: memory, perception, attention, language, and the making of decisions/solving of problems. Main body. Perhaps the best-known theorist in terms of cognitive thought processes is Noam Chomsky. Chomsky believes that language is a central process where ideas are turned into tangible forms of language process. While wanting to speak is a natural instinct for a child in order to express his/her wants and needs, how that language is formed is a nurtured response. Where Chomsky believes language is inherent and natural, the possibility of having to learn a language is entirely a new debate. Knezek uses the following example to describe genetic inclusion into language acquisition. Why do some children build towers with blocks, cry when they scrape their knees, and shout, "Choo-choo mine," when a sibling takes away their favorite toy train? Why are some children able to perform entire piano concertos or master complex mathematical concepts, while others cannot even learn to communicate in the normal way? The question raised is, therefore, if language were dependent on how a child is taught, then surely the majority of children would be on the same linguistic level across the spectrum. Indeed, this example shows that there are more levels to learning a language than meets the eye. Given that the initial response of an infant at birth is to scream, this is documented as being the first instinctive method of expression and gaining attention. However, whether or not the skills needed to communicate on a deeper level are learned can be put down to genetic predisposition and intelligence, as revealed in Sternberg's triarchic approach. Why a mother speaks to a child in what is termed motherese may have more to do with a natural response, too, than with something a mother is taught to do at antenatal classes. Infants begin babbling not long after birth, and the sounds produced during this period contain the basic sounds they hear spoken around them and phonemes not present in their native tongue. This is strong evidence for an innate language faculty. If this is to be understood correctly, then there are two aspects at work in the language acquisition process. Language is inherent to some degree, nature, and while language is inherent, the basic phonetic and lexical structure is learned, nurture. Argumentatively, if language were completely natural, a mother would not need to communicate in the so-called motherese, as a child would be able to develop their own lexicon, which would be complete with syntax and grammar. The various forms of intelligence, as proposed by Sternberg, answer the question as to why some children are highly accomplished in their vocabulary and syntax. In contrast, others are more accomplished at building intricate Lego castles. Conclusion. It suffices to say that, in fact, language cannot be entirely natural or completely nurture. If nature were the correct assumption, then deaf children would still be able to speak efficiently, but this is not so. The deaf child battles to create meaningful phonetic sounds. If nurture were the only way to learn the language, then newborn infants would not know that screaming gets them some attention. For instance, in autistic children, the inherent need to communicate is typically not there, and neither does any amount of teaching appear to give them that need to talk. This extreme example serves to identify a key point: no amount of nature or nurture is present in these individuals' language acquisition. There has to be a middle road by which a child acquires speech ability, and it boils down to both aspects of nature and of nurture. This essay on language acquisition, nature versus nurture, was written and submitted by a student just like you. The IvyPanda Samples database hosts thousands of works similar to this one on various subjects. Visit ivypanda.com to find what you are looking for.